Money in the Bank, G-Unit. I always like saying that. Money in the Bank in Canada. Ooh, yeah, Toronto. Ooh, yeah. Who gives a crap? But I love saying that too. But Toronto, Canada, Money in the Bank. Oh, there's going to be a lot to say about this show. One word I could probably describe, maybe two words I can describe this show. It was good. I'm going far to say that. And a lot of botches. And we're definitely going to get into this whole Money in the Bank show. But yes, Money in the Bank 2024, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Let's do this thing. Let my calls introduce themselves for today.
Yo, Black Shaggy in the building as always, ready to talk some wrestling. You said you got a lot to say about the show. I actually really don't think I have too much to say on it, but we'll see how this discussion goes. So, Black Shaggy in the building, we here, so let's get it.
Oh yeah, 40 cal back in the building. But yeah, and like Black Jack just said, man, shit, I don't have nothing nothing really too much to say about it. I really like the show.
Well, yeah, with 5 matches, it ain't really a lot to say with only just 5 matches going on, which, one thing we can always debate when it comes to WWE and AEW, that AEW has too many matches, and sometimes WWE doesn't have enough matches, especially for a pay-per-view. I already said before, I just think the balance should maybe be at least 7 or 8 matches, and I just believe that should be for any pay-per-view show, but yeah, it's a distinct difference sometimes nowadays with how the format goes and how a number of matches are. But let's get right into this right now. We're gonna kick it off. Money in the Bank match. Basically, Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, and damn, I almost got the last person in there. Chad Gable, yes. One thing I can at least say about this match is brought to you by the boys, so get ready for more advertisement. But one funny thing before this whole match even started up was through the entrances, and kind of just to take a line from Shaggy here. Basically, Jey Uso and LA Knight get these big pops. Andrade comes out, it's crickets.
I mean, my
They did him
goodness.
dirty. They put him between them. They did him dirty, bro.
Even Gable at least got a "You Suck" chant. I know he's in Spooky Town right now, but at least he's kind of getting the "You Suck" chants out there like Kurt Angle nowadays. But nah, Andrade, yeah, that was woof. But hey, man, we gotta remember he's a speed champion.
I
He's the
what?
mean,
Oh,
for
ain't that
whatever that's worth.
that's on Twitch or Twitter? Which one is that? Oh, that's on Twitter, right?
On Twitter.
yep.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought I said Twitch. I don't know what made me say Twitch.
Because you ain't
Uh,
watching it, that's why.
yeah, yes. I don't know what goes on that show.
You damn right.
Like it's on Twitter. Like I don't I don't really care. So I'm like, what do they do on that show? I'm like, what title is he holding? The speed champion now. So yeah, Andrade. Yeah, well then again, it's kind of been like that since he kind of came back. Hell, it's been like that when we went to SmackDown a couple weeks ago. He came out and it was crickets, and like it's still
Hey, this
crickets.
is what he wanted, bro.
He wanted to
Hey,
go back.
hey man, we talked about this before. Triple H must have really promised him something. He like I say, he promised him a match at WrestleMania, and it
Too much.
happened.
My bad, my bad. It ain't too much you could promise a person who ain't on TV on the other show. All you got to do is just promise, man, you gonna be on TV more times than the other show. How about that? All right, cool. Where's the sign? That's all you gonna say. When he was rarely on TV over there, so he get a lot more TV time. So that's all you got to do is promise the man that you ain't got to promise him no championships or nothing because that ain't probably ain't gonna happen. Yeah, but here's the thing: you could probably sell a lot more TV time. That's it. You'll be on TV every Monday night. That's it.
Yeah,
And they're not
like
even doing that.
Right there we go.
he ain't on SmackDown.
He on SmackDown, right? My bad. I said Monday night. All right, man. See, this what
So
he
It's
wanted.
very easy to forget.
yeah, you just forget sometime. But But nah, going through this match, this is a really good match. Not gonna go through every spot on here, but it was a lot of crazy and somewhat innovative spots in this Money in the Bank match. Like I said, I thought it was really good. Drew McIntyre, which, come on, I think we all knew who was gonna win this match anyways, literally was just killing folks out there, which was insane. One move that I did like throughout this match, and I think it had to do with Mello, but I think he like hit the nothing but net. Like what? Somebody was hanging on the ladder and he hit like the nothing but net. But who's on like in between the ladder? I don't know if it was Gable or whatnot, but he hit it real clean, so that was really good. Hell, freaking Chad Gable doing Chaos Theory German suplexes, damn near off the ladder in the ring. That was pretty crazy too. Trying to remember what else happened throughout this match. Like I said, I'm not gonna go through all the big spots, but obviously you got the ladder bridge going on. Andrade hitting like the sunset power bomb onto Mello onto the ladder, which was pretty cool too. Basically it didn't end up in the end with I believe Jey Uso going for the briefcase, and he was able to unhook it, but Drew McIntyre end up, knocking another ladder into him, climbed up, knocked him down, hit him with a Claymore kick, and basically unhooked the briefcase to win, which obviously that's going to play on to later in the show, which, like I said before, one other word at least I can kind of describe for the show too was pretty predictable at the same time, but I think we all knew Drew McIntyre was going to win this match. I think it was going to be set in stone already, so no surprise from here, but still a really good match to kick off the show.
For all the static that I've given on Andrade because of because of the reality of the situation, him and Melo were really cooking in this match. So, like, if we were going to pick MVPs, then those two were the ones doing all the crazy spots and everything. I'm pretty sure it was Andrade that Melo got that springboard nothing but net off. Uh, they did that crazy Spanish fly off the rope onto the ladder. They did the big power bomb spot. Melo did the clothesline off the ladder. I'm like, yeah, these two were cooking, bro. And I mean that's good because they keep giving Melo all these spots for him to shine and everything. And Andrade needed a performance like this, although I don't think it's going to matter once we get around to Friday if he's not going to be on TV again. Who cares? But one thing I want to point out real quick is Chad Gable because this is the only time, and I mean literally the only time in the last, so I don't know how long, where he felt like a viable competitor. Where it's like I don't know why they keep doing him dirty. Like they keep pulling the rug out from under him. Obviously, he didn't beat Gunther, so that storyline where it was like, oh, I got to fight for my daughter, blah blah blah. None of that went anywhere. Then he's obsessing over it to the point he keeps going after Sammy. That didn't go anywhere. And then even the angle that we thought we were going to get with him in the Alpha Academy, there was no big swerve or anything, no big turn where it leads to a match between him and Otis and all. Like we didn't even get that. And then he just gets murdered by the Wyatt family. And I'm like, all right, like what are we doing with Chad Gable here, man? Like, and then he has a match like this, and I'm just sitting there like, yeah, the guy is dope, bro. He's been dope for how long now? And I'm still just sitting here waiting for them to do something with him. I thought for sure we were going to get like this violent turn where he would join up with the Creeds and he'd be like, I don't need y'all anymore. And they jump Otis and them out, but we didn't get that. So I'm hoping like they see this performance. I can't be too hopeful though, because we've already known he's amazing. They've known he's amazing and they just choose not to use him. But yeah, I don't know where this Wyatt stuff is going, whatever. But get this man Chad Gable some love, bro. Put him in something. Get him doing something. Because if this is just leading to him feuding with the Wyatt family, obviously he's not gonna come out on top of that either. So yeah, I don't know. We got to figure out something with Chad Gable because he could have left. You feel me? Like he could have left and made crazy money on the independent scene, whatever. He could have been a world champion at TNA and nobody would thought anything of it. But he resigned. He trusted y'all to do him right, and this, I'm hoping they do because the history has shown they don't really know what to do with this man.
Uh, man, I ain't gonna lie. Like I really like this match. It was really it. It had me thinking. Like, what was the only time that that you had multiple people that you could have won, even though you knew But you like, man, in the back of your head, like, man, what if they didn't give it to Drew? What? Who else could have been in this? And then you thought to yourself that it was so many mysteries around this match. I thought a lot of things were going to happen. A lot more things were going to happen. I thought Logan Paul would come in, continue the feud with
Same.
LA.
Agreed.
You know, I thought CM Punk would actually go to interfere in this match, but we could get to that. But I thought he would actually go to interfere in this match and cost Drew. Because me personally, we gonna get to that, but I really did like what they did to the briefcase. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I we could have elevated somebody with this shit. We could have. If anybody could have did it, Melo was probably prime and ready for a briefcase run, and by next year he already was polished. A lot of people were saying on the internet though last night though they didn't trust it that Melo ain't ready and all that stuff, and Melo won't be ready by next year. How we know what Melo won't be doing by next year? How we got future powers or something? We got man, come on, man. Like, I don't like when they say stuff like that because you never know. I can bring up a good example that happened recently last year. The LA Knight phenomenon came out of nowhere. It's like, so you can't tell me that he can't strike the same fire that or I don't know, man. But I thought Melo was prime and ready for it. Real talk, he was prime and ready for it. And
Yeah, I mean,
I
if you
you
look
know
at like where Edge was when he won it, I don't see why you couldn't have given it to somebody like Melo. I mean, young guy
right.
that they believe is up next. Yeah, why not?
Agreed. Because
And
I think one thing, not to cut you off, one thing to kind of point
oh,
out too, and I've seen this a lot. I think because Melo's more of an HBK guy, and I don't think Triple H is like probably on the biggest fan on his side right now. So like I think it's like difference between Triple H guys and HBK guys at the same time too. And like Melo was an HBK guy.
but
Wild
at the
how
same
history
time,
repeats itself, huh?
yeah, I know, right? But
Yeah.
but here's the thing. I don't. I kind of feel that, but they give Melo a lot though. You know what I'm saying? They ain't like they do. They ain't like he really buried the guy over there. They could get him the Austin Dairy treatment if that's the case. You know what I'm saying? So I think I don't think he doing that to Melo. I don't think they think he ready. That's what it is. I don't think they think that he ready. And so I kind of feel you on that though, because it can't be that happening soon. I can see that happening soon. A lot of HBK guys not being pushed on the main roster because Triple H ain't feeling them like HBK is, man. But I just feel like they could have did something else with the briefcase. But
True.
overall, I thought it
Oh,
was
in
a good match.
hindsight, for sure.
Oh yeah, true. Because we're gonna get to the briefcase thing later on. One
No,
other
no,
thing.
no. One more thing. My bad. To piggyback what Jeff Stevens just said. In hindsight, oh no, I ain't used hindsight. I ain't gonna lie. It was right then and there when he got the briefcase, and my face just dropped because I knew what was gonna happen. I'm like,
True.
come
Yeah.
on, man. No, they not about to do this. He not about to have a successful cash in. I was telling my cousin that. I'm like, he not about to cash it in successfully. So it's a waste of time. I kind of figured that was going to happen. And Lord behold, boom.
Oh yeah, and oh yeah, it's gonna be a lot to say about that. One other thing I just kind of want to reiterate on, and just kind of what Steven said about the Chad Gable thing, real fast, because which I do agree is like they kind of keep pulling under the rug on Chad Gable. Because I'm gonna be honest, man, even in this match, I didn't even think he was even gonna be in this match. Because I said this like a few weeks ago. Because like you do this whole Wyatt Six angle, and you basically kill all these security guards and Chad Gable, but he's back in a week, and already in this match because I'm like, you do an angle like that, you think he'd be gone for maybe a couple weeks to a month, but it's like, oh no, he's back in 1 week. I know everybody thought it was some gunshot wound to the head for some reason, but I guess, like I said, they beat him up, but you doing this whole angle, making everything look like a murder scene and all that. I'm like, damn, you back already after 1 week? I'm like, okay, which, wherever that's going to lead to, because, they already got the spooky time right now, Monday looking like what's that movie, The Ring or something? Like, that's what they got going on with him right now. So, like I said, he did great in this match, but you do kind of wonder, or it's like, okay, where's this going with him? Are they putting the creeds with him yet? Like, just, what Steven said, it's like, you put him close to these somewhat big things that you think he's going to get, but they keep pulling the rug at the last second. It's just, I was kind of surprised they even got him in this match after doing this whole, Wyatt angle. And then I'm like, damn, back in a week already? I'm like, okay, like that kind of sounds like something you write someone off TV for a few weeks, but I don't know. But doesn't make a lot of sense. But like I said, like the overall the match was good, but yeah, it's gonna be some things to say about the Money in the Bank briefcase later on. But yeah, it could have been like more stuff going on. Like you said, people probably getting screwed over. But, kind of said what Steven had told me yesterday. I don't think they want to do too many screw over jobs on the same night at the same time, too. So, yeah. But moving on from this match, though, we now go on to the Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. This I'm a little kind of conflicted. I think it was a solid match. Other than Breaker almost dropping Sammy on his head, which was kind of close. But I'm honestly more surprised that Breaker lost clean to Sammy. Like, I'm actually surprised by that. I thought it probably would have been some screwy type of finish or whatnot, but it's like, no, Sami Zayn just beats him clean, flat. And it was like, I'm like, oh, that's it. Like, he dodged a spear, he kicked him, and then he hit the haluva kick, and it was over. Like, that was kind of it. Because, like, I don't know. My thing with Braun Breaker's like they made him into like this unstoppable beast going on for like several weeks now, going on a tangent, just killing everybody left and right, spearing the hell out of him, Goldberg style. And in a way, I kind of thought he was just gonna win right here, given how dominant they've made him look. But in a way, I probably saw Sammy retaining, but it would have been by some type of screwy finish or maybe a roll up or something, and then they continue this on in the SummerSlam. And I'm not saying Breaker was buried by any chance and all this, like a lot of people saying right now. I'm just more surprised he just straight beat him up flat clean. Like that's the thing that kind of surprises me out of this match, especially the way they've been booking Breaker lately ever since they put him on Raw.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same mind where I didn't have a outright prediction on who was going to win, but if it went one way or the other, I didn't think it was just going to be straight up. But it is funny that I did see a lot of the discourse in regards to this match online, and it's like, wow, we're really living in an era now where people are complaining that a finisher is protected. That's kind of wild. They're like, really, one haluva kick beat Braun Breaker? Are you serious? I'm like, yeah, protect the finish. That's how it always was, man. Hogan hit the leg drop. That was it, bro. Like, but that was just funny to me. But it's kind of crazy seeing the reaction to this in general. Like you said, people saying Braun is buried, and I saw somebody say Super Sammy and stuff like that. I'm like, wow, is
I
this
heard that.
really like we turning on Sami Zayn now? Like that's why wrestling fans are the worst, man.
They've been doing
But
that
yeah,
since WrestleMania.
Hey,
well,
I ain't gonna lie to
look,
you.
hey, I came on here when we did the WrestleMania review, and I said I didn't like how that match ended because they did no work to give Sammy that belt, and I still feel that way. But at the same time, it's not like I'm gonna turn on Sami Zayn and be like, oh, he's over pushed or anything like that. Like this is where they're going with it, and I mean, if they're going to get another match out of it, maybe it should have ended differently. Maybe there should have been more indecisiveness. I don't know, but I mean, the fact that Braun beat him up for like 10 minutes or whatever, and then Sammy just kicked him and won. Like maybe there could have been something else because I mean he beat him straight up. He hit his finish. He pinned him 1, 2, 3. There was nothing really that Braun can say to come back and be like, all right, but this happened, so I deserve a rematch. I mean, this is WWE though, so just like I said at WrestleMania when AJ lost to LA Knight, it's like, well, Braun could probably just win like a triple threat or something next week and get his rematch anyway, so it doesn't even matter. But in terms of just like this match itself, I thought it was fine. It never got out of fine. for me, and then it kind of just ended. So I was like, all right, go Sammy, I guess.
Man, I was gonna piggyback what you were saying, Steven. What you were saying about how they changed on Sammy. Ain't it funny that we live in a world that Sami Zayn, we complaining about Sammy winning. Now, Sammy, and we were just remember just 2-3 years ago that Sammy could buy a win. And now we complain, man, Super Sammy. Hold on, when did this come out now? Wait a second, when Sammy became Super Sammy? And like, nah, we need to cut it out. But it is one thing though. And remember Bryce when we were talking earlier in the week about it, and I was like, they can have Sammy win and Money in the Bank, but it gotta be some type of, one of those little roll up type of wins and stuff like that.
Yes.
And then you could give Braun an out. You get what I'm saying? You can give Braun an out, and then you can go into SummerSlam with the same the same feud, and you can give Braun the belt at SummerSlam. That's how I felt, but it kind of left me a little flat. It left me a little flat because it ended flat. Like she was saying, it didn't get out of fine at all. It kept on. It was like an engine that kept on revving up. You thought it was gonna start, and then all of a sudden it go right back off. And it's like, I thought I really was looking forward to a better match. I ain't saying it was a bad match. I was just, expectation. I was looking forward to a better one. But Sammy went it flat, one, two, three. But with the haluva kick, if you were going to get him to finish, I would just do one finish anyway. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm not about to give Sammy 4, 5 haluva kicks to put this man down. He being booked good enough already. He don't need to be booked as Superman. And so, man, I ain't really had too much to say about this match. It was all right.
One other thing to point out, and I think I may have already said this earlier, once again, it was being brought up. Sami Zayn, Triple H guy, Braun Breaker, HBK guy. So I saw that getting brought up again yesterday.
That's
So
going back to the Barry though, and we can't say that because they is booking him great. You know what I'm saying? And I can't give you that because how they been booking him. That boy been destroying everybody, every single body. So he's gonna get that belt, no doubt about it. I
oh
guess they
yeah.
didn't want to give it to him right then and there.
I'm assuming maybe a rematch of SummerSlam. I'm gonna assume that. I just, like I said, I didn't really kind of expect them to just kind of win straight up clean. I just thought it was gonna be like some type of roll up screwy finish that would just segue into SummerSlam. But I was like, oh, he beat him clean. So it's like you said, it's like the engine that keeps revving, but it's like it didn't get out of first gear almost. It's like
Not at
it happened
all.
and it didn't get out of first gear and it was over. So that was just kind of it. Like Sammy won, there you go. But nah, I've seen more and more that the whole Sammy Hogan, Sammy's just beating all these guys left and right. Why are they making Sammy look so powerful? Beating Gunther, Gable, and now Breaker now. So it's like he's slaying all the giants all of a sudden. Everybody's trying to point out. So
Look, man, hey, Kyle said 2, 3 years ago. It was last year that people were upset that Sammy didn't beat Roman, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, Sammy this, Sammy that. Like, bro,
dude,
Yeah,
it's
they
I'm
crazy.
like,
wanted
I
him to.
don't know. And then with this the three people that you just mentioned, and one of them you can't even call it like a quote unquote. I understand what you meant by giant, not a literal size. I know that, but you were saying how it personality or it had a WWE would view them. Well, WWE, we were just talking about Chad Gable. They don't really view him as that. And then you got Gunther. They did, but they knew Gunther time was up. So it was like Gunther time was up with the title. He needs to go on to bigger and better things. So no other person was better for that sort of role to take the belt off of Gunther at WrestleMania than one of the biggest baby faces that you got. You know what I'm saying? Why not? He going to get a pop. Everybody go crazy for him once he get the title. So I can't agree with Steven. It's like the build to that was sucky, but we ain't going to talk about that. But but for him to beat Braun Breaker, I don't. like I said, he could have won anyway. The finish, nah, I wouldn't use the finisher. I'd probably use the rolled up pin. But he could have won anyway, though. He could have.
That's
Yeah,
true.
sometimes it's not the finish, it's not the result itself, it's how you do it. So yeah, I could definitely see what you're saying. Like it should have been some I wouldn't say fluky because that's what I didn't like about the Gunther match is like if you had it in mind Sammy was going to win, you should have booked that match completely different because like his reign is already tainted because it felt like he just escaped Gunther in that match. So where if they had a rematch, then Gunther would take him more seriously and he would just beat him as opposed to just drawing it out. So now in this match, just find a different way that doesn't feel so fluky. But like if he did just hit him with a one haluva kick and then Braun, instead of just going down, getting the pin, if he like staggered a little bit, Sammy backed up and did like at least one more, then I feel like maybe people wouldn't feel that way. I don't know. But yeah, sometimes it is just how you actually execute the finish rather than the result itself.
True. And one thing you did kind of point out, you talk about the difference of how people now going at Sammy compared to last year. Like, didn't they want him the main event WrestleMania last year and said they wanted a triple threat match with him and Cody? Like, Sammy needs to be the one to win the title, and like, because it wasn't gonna have an elimination chamber last year, but now it's like, no, he's got a main event WrestleMania now, which he did end up doing that anyways. But they wanted him to beat Roman for the title. Now it's a whole different outlook. So it's just kind of funny when you think about it. So just the difference in a year, I guess. But yeah, that go ahead now. My bad.
No, I just said they're fickle.
Yeah, fickle fans of
Yeah, I
fickle.
was just about to say. I was just about to say, like, man, sometimes you just gotta know when to listen to the fans, and sometimes know when to not to listen to them. And these are one of the times that you just know not to listen to them right now, because they don't even know what they really want.
True. But moving off an Intercontinental title match, Bad Blood is coming back in October. They had a commercial with Cody Rhodes and Metro Boomin. If young Metro don't trust you, someone will shoot you. And it's kind of funny to play that in Canada, of all places, for obvious reasons, especially with Metro Boomin there. So subtle Drake shot, if you ask me, in some type of way. Uh, but
Wow.
so yeah,
I
we
didn't
really
even put that together.
yes. So when you really think about it, so there you go. Next though, they brought out Trish Stratus, who was hosting this show. Thank you, Trish.
Hey,
And
man, I'm sorry to cut you out. I'm so sorry. It's something pertaining to the Metro Boomin, and I'm so sorry that we got to go back. But nah, man, I had to argue. I had another debate with somebody online. And somebody gonna say something. Man, do the WWE know that they got an audience that don't know who this guy is? Like, hold on, time out. Wait a second. What a song that you haven't heard in the past couple of years that's haven't said on Metro Boomin in the beginning of that song. You could lie to me because he does pop songs, rap songs, and all that. Nah, bro, they can't lie to me and say they don't know this nigga, man. I swear they can't.
Actually, that's
But
one of the
yeah,
most annoying things about wrestling fans. Like, not everything is for you. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, I, I
That
remember when they
too.
brought Bad Bunny in, and people were like, "Who is this guy?" And it turns out he's like one of the biggest artists in the world. It's like, bro, everything doesn't have to be for you, dude. You specifically. There are other people who watch wrestling other than you.
I was like, and then that's exactly what I said. I was like, man, it's an audience that outside of you. You know that, right? And then like he was like, man, I just said, I'm like, man, look, bro, look, just enjoy the whatever you want to enjoy, man. You gonna still watch Bad Blood? I know you are. So that cut it.
who's that?
Exactly.
Metro Boomin. Metro Boomin wants some more, nigga. And I don't know who he is now. Like, who is that guy sitting with Cody? Metro who? Metro House Plant? What? No, that's a good point. Like everything's not for you. But
Yes.
nah. Well, I gonna say yeah. Trish Stratus though came out. She was the host of the show. Thank you, Trish.
Sort of.
And well, yeah, sort of hosted the show.
That's
And
right.
yeah, sort of. We only saw her 2 times throughout the whole night, so we only literally saw her twice. Okay, that's all the many times we saw. Looked great though at the same time, and she brought out John Cena. John Cena, which immediately when he came out, you already knew what he was going to do. Given if you look at his new T-shirt and the towel, the last time is now, and John Cena farewell, and after this you can't see me on the back. Because he came out and he's got to make sure you got to promote that Netflix on Raw, everybody. I've never been on Netflix before, so expect John Cena to say a lot of stuff when Raw goes to Netflix. But he basically came out to announce his retirement, and he wanted it to do it in Canada, which is kind of funny when people look at Cena as Mr. Captain America here, and you do this in Canada of all places, which is kind of funny on a B-level pay-per-view, which in a way I guess won't overshadow a lot of things, but still. But John Cena talked about how hot WWE is right now, and the farewell doesn't end tonight, and it's not going to be till next year, and he says, I will be at the Royal Rumble, I will be at Elimination Chamber, and I will be at WrestleMania, which apparently will be his last matches and whatnot. And he said he would explain more in the press conference right after Money in the Bank. He thanked the crowd and everything, and for all being brutal to him throughout the years. And he said he still has some matches left in his career and all that. My take on all of this, which given recent interviews with John Cena recently, he has already, hinted at his retirement. Say he would do it before he turned 50, if I'm not mistaken. He's taking like the Sting route, because I know Steven told me this yesterday, because Sting did the same thing, announced retirement until when his last match is supposed to be. Some believe this is an angle. Well, it is a retirement angle at the same time, so we already know what it is. And then again, like I said, the gear he came out with already gave it away, so you already kind of knew what he was gonna say before he could even say it. Um, like I said, with John Cena doing movies and everything nowadays, and I think, like I say, he's filming Peacemaker 2 right now. He ain't really got to do this anymore, because we see him in movies, we see him in commercials. Hell, I know he just had a trailer for a new movie that's coming out soon and whatnot. If I had to guess, going into these last matches coming up, some believe he should face Randy Orton in WrestleMania, or he should win the title from Cody Rhodes, or he should face CM Punk again, or AJ Styles. There's a long list of people. I'm sure people want to see Cena fight again one more time. Or if this is like some say an angle to pull a ruse on everybody, which, listen, this is going to do big business, which I'm sure it already has. It's going to sell out the Royal Rumble. It's going to sell out the Elimination Chamber. It's going to sell out WrestleMania in Las Vegas. And, I had this conversation with someone yesterday. They want to pull a swerve on people. They could have Cena come in at Mania, maybe win the title, and then come out Raw the next night and turn heel. That would be a great move if that were to happen. But right now, like I said, this is an angle, so we don't know what to expect from all of this right now. If he is retiring, hey, we don't know. Anything can happen. But like I said, given his movie schedule nowadays, he don't really got to do this stuff like that no more. The last time we even had him consistently on TV was what? Probably a year ago on SmackDown, where he was there every week. But we could kind of thank the writer's strike for that to why he was on TV, because the last match he really had was against Solo at Saudi Arabia. Was it the Crown Jewel, I think? And yeah, that was kind of last one of the things he did. But yeah, this was out of nowhere of him just randomly coming out and popping out just saying this. But some would say, he didn't really overshadow the show all the way, given this is still like a B-level pay-per-view. But I just thought it was kind of funny, like, you announced this in Canada. So that's my take on the whole Cena's announcement coming out with this big retirement angle.
This is honestly the most interesting thing that happened on the show, for real. Like, in terms of, because one, he wasn't even announced; he just showed up, and I was like, "Oh, it's John Cena." Because normally, I know what it is with these WWE pay-per-views being on Peacock, where it's like between matches, you got about a good 7 minutes of just nothingness. So I was finna just leave and go do something else, and then I heard Trish Stratus come out, and I'm like, "Oh, what's she about to do?" And then she immediately left just to introduce John Cena. And I'm like, oh, John Cena's here. What's he about to do? And then yeah, he pulled up the towel. And I'm like, whoa, is he about to say what I think he's about to say? But he kind of clickbaited with it. I'm not even gonna lie, because at the scrum afterwards, when he started answering questions, he confirmed that even though the way he worded it kind of gave the impression that WrestleMania was going to be his last stop, he said that's not actually the case. He's going to be around for like 50 dates or something like that. And so even though when he was out there, he made it seem like, all right, I'm doing a Sting thing and I'm going to retire at WrestleMania. That's not actually what he meant when he actually broke down what he really meant by that. So, I mean, it's cool. Look, man, I'm sure all of us on the pod right now were watching when he first came out and confronted Kurt Angle, and it's like, wow, that was what 22 years ago, and now fast forward, and my man said, all right, it's about time to wrap this up now, dude, and that's kind of cool. I'm old enough to have been through the phases of really liking Cena, then really hating him, then really liking him again, and now I kind of feel like, all right, he's earned his legacy, I guess. It always comes to that point in somebody's career. I mean, we'll do the same thing with Roman Reigns in 10 years, whatever, when we're like, actually, yeah, Roman, you earned this, bro. But as far as what he can actually do, I'm not in the camp of a lot of other people where you mentioned Bryce, people saying, yeah, he should win the world title, beat Cody, whatever. I have seen a lot of that. And I'm like, I don't know about that, man, because my man's last few appearances, I'm not saying he's going out Undertaker sad, but his last few matches, man, the Theory match, the solo match, his house show tag matches that he was doing on SmackDown, whatever. I don't know if I need to see my man doing all that right now. I don't know if I need to see him world. If it's a one-off thing, like he wins the world title and then drops it the next night and retires, then that's one thing. But if he's coming back, he's going to win the Rumble, he's going to win at WrestleMania, get the title, and he's sticking around to have title matches. I don't know if I need all that in my life. And that could just be a me thing, but I feel like people are letting their nostalgia for John Cena kind of cloud what this could be. It's like what John Cena, like CM Punk in the press conference say, yeah, this is the last time he'd love to wrestle John Cena again. And I'm like, yeah, in theory, that's cool. People are like, yeah, give me that Randy Orton match at WrestleMania. I'm like, yeah, that's cool in theory. So, I don't know what that match is going to look like when they actually wrestle, but yeah, man, it is interesting. I'd rather see him in the ring with a lot of people we haven't seen him wrestle, especially the young crop of talents who can not carry him, but bring him up to a really good match, like a Braun Breaker or Carmelo Hayes, and throw an Ilya Dragunov in there. Like some people like that, I really like to see more than the people we've already seen him wrestle, who are also up there in age and also injury prone and all. Like a lot of that stuff is just cool in theory, but if you're really going out, man, like just like Sting, right? Sting wasn't out here wrestling, Edge and Christian and Billy Gunn one-on-one in AEW. No, he was teaming up and he was wrestling a lot of people who can speed up the match to make it look better. And I feel like that's what this should be. But like I said, I am, I've come around a lot on John Cena since to 2014. So, it is kind of sad to see that this is where we are, but that is the reality situation. Just like Bryce says, like my man 50 now, bro, and I'm making movies and TV shows now. I can't be doing this no more. So, yeah, go out with a bang, bro. So
get more money for movies, damn near.
But
I mean, yeah, because you get royalties and all that just for your name being on it. So yeah, merchandising, sure.
Yeah, sure. I love playing Peacemaker on Mortal Kombat. So it just give me
Bro,
that feel.
exactly. He's not even there. It's a video game.
Not even there.
It gives me that feel because I can hear his voice. You get what I'm saying? So I give me that feel. I'm playing with John Cena with superpowers. Like
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I gotta say about John is John was number one of my favorite guys. I ain't gonna say I hated him or anything. It was like an indifference, like how I felt about the Undertaker or Kane or something. Like I know y'all legends, you know, y'all were never really my favorite people to watch when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? But he always had matches that with all my favorite guys, and they usually were my one of my favorite matches for those guys. And so one of my favorite matches for Daniel Bryan was the 2013 SummerSlam with him and John Cena for the WWE Championship. One of my favorite matches with him and CM Punk was Money in the Bank 2011. Yeah, I could go on and on. Rob Van Dam, one of my favorite guys. One of my favorite matches of his was ECW 2006, the One Night Stand. That was one of my favorite matches for Rob Van Dam. And Randy Orton is just that could have been a good feud if they did knock us over the head with it constantly. You know what I'm saying? Like every other month, we get a John Cena and Randy Orton feud. It got to the point that like, man, nah, stop it. You know, but he was one of those guys that he earned my respect because he took being booed with it, you know, like a punch to the chin. Like he took it like whatever, you know, y'all can boo me out the building. I'm still gonna do the same. I'm gonna still try to do the same thing, you know, try to still do my whole gimmick. But I just think I will agree with Steven. It should be a lot of one-on-one matches, and if they are, they should be broken down like this: at least two legendary matches that you could find that you could bring up Randy Orton or AJ Styles. You know what I'm saying? And at least three of those matches got to be elevating matches. Braun Breaker or something, or whoever you want to think of. Gunther. It doesn't matter. It gotta be one of those type of matches. Then you gotta elevate. You gotta utilize this nigga while he's still here. Utilize him all the way until he about to go, and you could get some good things out of him. You could get some new stars, good matches, and bust load of money. So why not?
True. And one thing I kind of want to reiterate back what Steven said about, Cena's last other matches in recent times when you talk about the ones against Theory and Solo. I think one thing, I wouldn't even say like missed a step. I feel like they kind of like he kind of had to held back a little because with Cena's schedule of doing movies and somewhat wrestling at the same time, I think they got to look at it like, okay, let's keep it basic. We don't want to do too much. This guy's got a lot of stuff to film, so we don't want dude getting hurt or anything. Like that's one thing I can kind of say when you look at the last time he was around. And like I said, what the tag match with LA Knight back at Fastlane from last year, because like he only did like maybe 4 or 5 moves if I remember. And the last one I would say he had a somewhat consistent match was against Solo. I didn't think it was a bad match, anything all the way, even though I felt like he didn't really get Solo over that much after that, and I knew where they were going with that, given that the strike was in at the time too. But I feel like they kind of somewhat had to held back with him was like because of like the whole movie schedule. It's like, okay, we can't afford for this dude to get hurt, so keep it basic. Like don't do nothing too crazy because like I think we discussed in the past, like okay, we didn't get big match John at WrestleMania against Theory or even in a tag match or whatnot. It's like okay, come out, do the 5 moves of doom, hit the FU. We gonna keep it basic. Like you get what I'm saying? So like that's why I feel like they've kind of had to utilize him at that most time when he was kind of popping in and out of the company. Because like some say the last like other big match he had other than the 3 ones I just kind of named. Some would say maybe against Roman back at SummerSlam 2021 if I'm not mistaken, right? So yeah, I think that was like probably one of the other big matches where he was just kind of like he was back like that. Because I've seen people kind of point out before, it's like with him doing all these movies and TV shows, he don't got to really would I say ring rust in a way? Because like even people pointing out, it's like yeah, Cena's still big, but it's not like he's like jacked to the freaking gills big like Randy Orton right now, like we've seen in usual times. Because I've even seen people point out like, yeah, this guy needs to get a tan or go back to the buzz cut because like your JBL haircut is not really working out for you right now. And going into this whole retirement angle, if it like goes through all the way, like we already said before, this guy's got movies and stuff nowadays, so he doesn't really got to do this anymore. One thing in wrestling, and this has to do with a lot of people when it comes to like retirements and all that. Not saying like people don't stay retired, but I feel like I've seen in wrestling so many times throughout the years of people coming in and out of retirement. I even said to myself, like, does anybody really retire in wrestling like that anymore? Or do they just end up coming back in the next few years for whatever reason? Because I feel like I can name a whole bunch of people right now. I'm not saying he's going to stay retired. I'm not saying he's not. It's just, you see this so many times. It's kind of like, don't be surprised if he comes back out of retirement, or hey, maybe if he does win a title, maybe sticks around. But if, like Steven said in the post conference, he said like, well, yeah, I got like 50 other dates available, so yeah, I'll still be here on TV, Netflix, doing whatever until WrestleMania time and all that. So it does kind of make you think at the same time, looking into this whole angle that they're going on right now. Because like I said, somebody pointed me out yesterday, they could turn him heel, and that would be a big swerve on everybody. But hey, I don't know. I'm just taking a guess right now.
Well, one thing I want to say before we move on, I mean, to your point, it could have been a lot of that where those matches were what they were because he didn't want to take any big risks because of his movie schedule or whatever, whatever. It could have been a lot of that, maybe. But at the same time, like we saw The Rock at WrestleMania, and I felt completely different about what The Rock was doing than what John Cena was doing in his matches. Like maybe I'm not going to say The Rock cared more because that's probably not true. But like when I watched that tag match at Mania, like The Rock was out there. It just felt like he was The Rock out there. When I watched them John Cena matches with Theory and Solo, I was just like, all right, this almost feels like he's just here to get a check and he's about to bounce. Like it never felt like my man was taking this as, I mean, you mentioned the hair thing and him being so not tanned or whatever. It's like, not that he was ever really tanned in his career, but you could definitely tell the difference. It's like, I don't know where my man's head is at, what's going on here, because it just never felt like Big Match John, like Kyle said, and then when you compare that to like what we got with The Rock at WrestleMania this year, it's like, I don't know if the movie thing is an excuse for that, but it could have been a lot of that. I don't know.
And Rock does movies too, but I feel like, given the angle The Rock was in, also Rock, like you said, when Rock was at WrestleMania, he was The Rock again. Like he was putting
I'm a
his
roll.
all into it.
And I do agree with the both of y'all. And I'm kind of split because John Cena doing a lot more right now because I don't think The Rock when he at that time when he was wrestling earlier this year he didn't have too much on his plate at that time. So all he could have done with that, and he ain't really had nothing else to do. But with John, as soon as he had to lose to Solo, that man was going to do something else. And so I kind of agree with Bryce, and I kind of agree with Steven because at the same time, you don't want to use that as an excuse when you see another mega star coming from Hollywood too, doing all this crazy wild stuff. You know, and I kind of agree with both of y'all. But with John, here's the thing: he he look. Yeah, I know you got to get smaller and everything, but man, Joe, he man, it's like a total difference. Like I know it's a little different from what you see a lot of wrestlers that take off and come back and for a long time, but man, boy, John Cena looked like Ernie off of
Oh,
what that
Ernest,
movie?
yeah.
Oh
Ernest,
damn!
yeah,
Got my man
yeah,
looking like
that's what.
Ernest.
Yeah, he looked like that man. He really do. Every time I see him, I'm like, yeah, he look just like him.
Once that hat and shirt come off, it's like a different thing. When he got the hat and shirt on, okay, it's Cena and it talks like Cena, and still cuts great promos. But yeah, he take that hat off and shirt off, and then we see in the ring, it's a little bit different kind of right now than him just coming out and cutting a promo.
Yeah,
So that's
but
that's how
yeah,
I kind of look at it. Which is, the funny thing is, just one more thing to kind of put on, like, you talk about The Rock and Cena, like everybody kind of said like Cena's damn near become The Rock when you think about it, because you look years ago with Cena talked about The Rock like, yeah, I ain't gonna leave here. You went Hollywood. Kind of funny how the tables have turned.
Yeah, he's pretty much rescinded on all that though. Like he was wilding when on The Rock when they were feuding and everything, but he's since like years later like apologized and took everything
Yeah,
back.
he
He's like,
did.
actually, I get it now.
So I get more money doing this.
This money is good over here, right? Yeah, I see what you talk. I see what you mean.
The
Like, yeah,
water's nice.
I get more money. I get more money doing movies on Amazon Prime and all this other stuff. Like, I'm on Peacemaker right now. I was in Suicide Squad. Like, I'm getting more money out of this than I did in the WWE. Some say The Rock is back because his movies ain't been hitting like that for a while now. So there's a reason why he's kind of in the position he's in in WWE right now. Not saying he still doesn't have movies coming out,
There's
but
a lot of fans are turning on him too. You know
oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I've heard
They
that for
hear
a while.
about what he does behind the scenes in the movie. They hear about some of the things that he does, and especially this little documentary that came out with the WrestleMania thing. Is you just made him a superhero because he didn't do himself any favors. Every time I see a clip of it, I'm like, my goodness, bro. Yeah, I wanted to I wanted to have the match with Roman at WrestleMania, and I was like, y'all, we just gonna sing through it and pretend like and just X all the noise. I'm like, hold on, you were gonna sing through it and X all the noise. We were gonna make more. He not doing himself any favor, Price. Real talk.
The funny thing is, like, I wasn't even mad about Rock versus Roman, but the fact would make, and I said this a while ago, I like, well, Cody won the Rumble, so it wouldn't have made no sense just to him to give the match to The Rock. If Cody didn't win the Rumble, I would have been talking different, but I'm like, well, he won the Rumble, so he's gotta face Roman. But then I heard about, what was it, what's his writer's name, The Rock, what's that guy?
Words, wrong words.
Words, yeah, talking about Cody wasn't even supposed to point at Roman. He was supposed to point at Seth, and that fucked up a lot of things in the plan also. Like, he wasn't supposed to do that, apparently. So it's almost like they had to do this because of the reaction from fans and how people got mad on the internet that they had no choice but to just go with Cody instead of doing Rock and Roman. But I like, well, he won the Rumble and everything, so that's why I was kind of like, yeah, if he didn't win the Rumble, I wouldn't really have that much of a problem with Rock versus Roman.
Yeah, that's a good old WWE trope where they like to blame everybody but the bad idea. Like,
Yeah, I hear a lot. I
like
hear,
when they talk about the Daniel Bryan thing from years ago, they're like, yeah, well, this was the plan all along. Like, nigga, all right, bro.
this was the plan.
Whatever you say, boss.
So
Whatever
yeah,
you say.
but but yeah, we'll see what happens with this whole angle with Cena right now. Like I said, it's a big angle to me right now, so maybe I'll feel different about it later on in months to see where it goes. But hey, it's a good selling point to get people to come to all these shows and sell out the building. So we'll see where it goes. Like, that's my thoughts on it right now. So maybe I'll feel different about it in months. So yeah, moving on. No, we now go on to the World Heavyweight Title on the line. Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins, and this match was pretty rough. And not talking about everything that happened after the match. I'm just talking about the match itself. I brought up the word botch earlier, and man, I'm not even the finish before all the shenanigans started to happen, but there were times in the match where it looked pretty it just wasn't it. I'm sorry it wasn't it, because I remember Priest, it looked like he was trying to do some dive off the top rope, like he was trying to do some type of inverted thing, and he kind of fell the wrong way, and like it just didn't land well, and commentary tried to save it. Even when Seth was going like with super kick, like he was gonna super kick Priest, right? Like when Priest was like firing up, and he came back with his own kick, but they kicked at the same time, and you could tell it was messed up that basically Priest kicked Seth Rollins in the nuts then, which it looked like he legitimately got hit there. I thought so. That looked pretty rough too. And those like some of the main botches I saw. I may not be naming all of them, but I just didn't think the match itself was all that. And especially once we get to the end of this whole thing, where Rollins doing the big suplex and going for the Falcon Arrow, which, Priest was trying to dodge it. And then Seth ended up getting it. And then it ended up being a 3 count, which we kind of thought he won the title from there. And you can see the ref, he tried to stop himself. I'm like, he didn't kick out. Or like, he didn't kick out. I'm like, Seth won the title, right? He really didn't kick out. And then, after the whole match, then the Money in the Bank cash-in happens, which I don't know why Drew just didn't wait till after the match until somebody won to do it. But he did it midway through this match, and he got involved. It became a triple threat match then after that. He's taking out both Priest and Rollins and setting up for the Claymore kicked in. But then, like, literally less than a minute, CM Punk just hits the ring and just starts beating the hell out of Drew McIntyre, throws him over the barricade, beats him with a chair several times, and he looks at the world title then, just staring at it, picks it up, hits Drew with it, which, the announcers are yelling at him then, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he hits Drew with the belt, and then Priest just ends up hitting the South of Heaven choke slam. And he won, and Seth Rollins just looked pretty pissed off then, trying to go at CM Punk, which at least now kind of rekindles that feud, since it looked like that match was going to happen at WrestleMania. But, Punk ended up, unfortunately, getting hurt, so they had to put that on pause. But it looked like it's coming back now. And there's a lot of things to point out throughout this whole thing. Like I said, obviously the Drew and CM Punk feud continues, which, in my opinion, I think the match will happen at SummerSlam, and hopefully CM Punk is healthy enough to do it. Or some would say it could be ending up with a triple threat match now, since Seth is now pissed off. And looking at the whole gentleman's agreement that Seth and Priest had on Monday, because let's remember, Seth said he would not face for the world title again if he lost to Priest. But given this was a triple threat match now, and Drew took the pin, does the make that gentleman's agreement still, void, or now is it null and void? Like, you kind of have to think about that for a second. And I thought this was a great angle. It heated up the feud, obviously more with Punk and Drew. I honestly thought this should have ended the show. This low-key should have been the main event. Even as botchy and bad the match was, kind of with, Rollins and Priest, I thought this would have ended the show, especially given this is the world title, right? So you think it would main event the show. This is the only, like, big, like, well, not the Intercontinental, that's a title match too, but this is, like, the top belt of Monday Night Raw. So you would think it would kind of end off. They could have ended the show by doing this. Like, they really could have just ended the show by doing this cash-in. Now, in regards to the Money in the Bank cash-in, what Kyle brought up earlier, I think, yes, this is a waste of Money in the Bank. We all knew this was going to happen. We knew Drew was going to come out there and get involved in the match. He said it early. He said it on Monday Night Raw. He said it on SmackDown. But it's almost like, hey, Money in the Bank wasted almost. I get it was just to further the storyline, and we all knew CM Punk was going to come out, but it does feel like a waste of Money in the Bank. Now, some would kind of argue and debate that, because it's like, you look at the women's Money in the Bank, and every time somebody wins the women's Money in the Bank, they either end up cashing it in on the same night, or they may do it the following week on Raw and SmackDown, and it's kind of already done. So some would say it's kind of an argument, well, we can kind of give this a pass because the women usually end up cashing it real fast and all that, so they could just do it with the guys now. But the fact that it was a failed cash-in, it kind of is a distinct difference and all that. So I do feel the Money in the Bank briefcase was wasted, but at the same time, I understand for storyline purposes. So I do agree with the wasting of the briefcase, though. But this was still a hot angle, though, to heat up more in the SummerSlam.
So this is one of those situations where I'm glad we do it a day later, the review, because it made me really sit and think about stuff. So when this happened, I think I enjoyed the match more than you did, between Priest and Seth. But when the moment happened where Punk came out and all that, blah blah blah, I was like, oh yeah. I mean, I wasn't excited or anything, but I did think, yeah, this is cool. It's predictable, but it makes sense for him to come out and do this. But then as I sit and like really think about this entire situation, it's like, this is probably the worst way they could have gone about it. Like, because one, I mean, yeah, the glaring thing is the waste of the cash in, because you could have gotten to this same point if he just cost Drew in the actual match for the briefcase rather than him winning the briefcase and then wasting it later on in the same night. Because I think the fact that Drew won made this match worse because you were just waiting for the moment for Drew to come out and then for Punk to screw him. So if that didn't happen, if Punk screwed Drew in the ladder match instead and then somebody else won, not only are we still keeping the cash in for somebody else, like Kyle said, maybe Melo won and he holds it for a year, whatever. So we don't blow that immediately. But two, it makes this match better because you're not expecting that anymore. You're not looking for that anymore. And then if you're thinking, all right, well, they did it this way because now they want to get Rollins involved in it, it's like, okay, but he's mad at Punk, I guess, because Punk screwed up the match, but you were already screwed because Drew came out. So it's not even Punk's fault because you could have not won the match. Drew took you out, bro. Like if Punk didn't come out, you would have lost the match regardless because Drew came out and laid you both out. So it's like if the argument is they did it this way to get Rollins involved, even that doesn't even really make sense. It doesn't really land that way either. Now, granted, Rollins being involved, period, makes sense because that was the match they were building in the first place before Punk got hurt was Seth and Punk. So that's fine. But the way they went about doing it this way, it just, the more I thought about it, none of it really made any sense, like on any level. It's like we wasted the cash in. It made this match worse because we were just waiting for the angle. Rollins is mad at Punk, even though it's really Drew's fault in the first place. And then on top of that, how does Drew not see this coming as a character? at this point, bro, how does he not see this after what you did to Punk? Did you just think, all right, that's my get back, so now we're even? And you thought that was going to be the end of it? Like in kayfabe, you just thought, all right, we're done now. I got my get back, and I can move on and win the world title, and that's it. Like, no, bro. Obviously, Punk in this moment, he said, with every fiber of my being, I'm going to make sure you're not going to become world champion. Why would you then come out and just assume that this was not going to happen? Like, the more I thought about it, it just fell apart at every bit. Every narrative angle you could position here, it fell apart at each and every one of them. It's like none of this in the end really made any kind of sense to me after I thought about it for more than 5 minutes. But in the moment, I was like, oh, cool, Punk came out. All right. But then as I thought about it, I was like, well, wait a minute. None of this shit makes any sense. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, I thought the match between Priest and Rollins was all right. I do definitely agree that it should have made, especially in hindsight with how that main event went. But at the same time, the way they decided to go about all this, I can't say I'm really a fan of it because it just doesn't really make any sense on any level. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Y'all already touched on how I felt about the cash in the match overall though. I do agree with Steve. I might have enjoyed it a little bit more than you, Bryce, because I really did. Except for especially all right. Let me break it down. I enjoy the matches the match in two parts. The first part I enjoyed. The second part though, after the pinfall, the botch pinfall, I ain't know what was going on. So in real time, I'm over here thinking before Samantha Urban made the announcement, I'm thinking Seth won. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking like I'm looking at my character like, man, Seth won because I see him getting up in the corner and Drew is targeting him. So I'm looking like, well, did Seth win the championship? Why he targeted himself? And I was so confused at the situation. And then she make that announcement, and I'm like, all right, cool. So I back down to knowing what everything going on. So then, but now I'm over here thinking because the whole night I'm over here thinking like, man, I just know CM Punk is now about to come in and mess up this nigga cash in because he's not about to win the championship. That's a waste of cash in. And Lord behold, right on time, right on cue, that man come out. He started beating him up and every day. I'm over here looking like, yeah, this is a waste of time. Why did they do it? Now we gotta wait a whole year. A whole year. I'm like, man, you could have had a good little tool to build the side right in an instant, but Hey, I guess they could do something else to build these guys, but that was a ace of the hole right there for you. That was man, I don't know why they did go that route, and so it kind of bummed me on the whole match afterwards. And once Priest won, I was like, all right, I'm glad this match is over with. Let me just go ahead and get ready for the women money in the bank then. Because here's the thing, I I just don't know what they were thinking, man. I just don't know what they were thinking. And then with Seth Rollins, though, I could see why he would be mad at Drew. I mean, at CM Punk. Even though if he would have lost, still, it's off the merit of somebody cashed in. So it ain't really like he could say anything about it because he did it before himself. But with CM Punk that came out of nowhere, now you was an X factor because I wasn't expecting you to come in and start messing up everything. Even though I know you went to it with Drew, but they ain't got nothing to do with me. And you came into my match. This is my match. I, and so I could understand when they could put itself in that feud, but it just felt like a waste of time to me.
Yeah, I can understand that, especially the Money in the Bank thing. That just really kind of like, well, I'm like, that was kind of a waste. Especially since he lost too, and like you said, Steve said earlier, Drew should have saw this coming because it's like what the third time now. Punk has screwed Drew McIntyre over, and he just thought it was gonna be over. Like, huh, I got him on SmackDown in Chicago, so he won't come after me again. It's like, yeah, man, it's the third time now. Okay, so it's like, you kind of knew this was gonna happen, and like just the way it was done is like predictable. Predictable. That's the one word to describe all of this. But it's like, this is three times now, and you already know what's gonna happen. And it's like, well, you said he was gonna come out and do the Money in the Bank thing, and that's what it was, and he lost. And I was like, well, that was a waste of the cash in. I get the purpose of it. I understand it, but still, it was a waste. And like even Steven said earlier, it's like Rollins was mad at Punk. Shit, you might as well be mad at Drew. He was the one that was gonna take you out and win the title right there. So it's a lot to really take from all of this, good and bad. But like I said, I still think this should have ended the show, honestly. Just with all the shenanigans and screwy stuff that went on around, because basically Priest just moves on to Gunther at SummerSlam at this point, so we already know that's basically set in stone and all of that. But I'm not saying it's gonna be a triple threat match with Rollins, Punk, and Drew. Like I said, I still see Drew and Punk at SummerSlam. Like I said, hopefully CM Punk is healthy enough to do this. If he's recovered, 100% yet. I'm not sure. Like, it's been one of the hottest angles on Monday Night Raw. Probably the hottest angle with Drew and Punk. And these two haven't even had to wrestle each other. It's just been promos and attacking each other from behind. But in like this case for this match and all the aftermath shenanigans, a lot of screwy stuff here, which is like predictable, yeah, but it's still there's still bad stuff from it, like the waste of the cash in. So because it's like it ain't even like a successful like cash on the same night. It's like, oh, cash in, lose. So well, gotta wait till next year now. So that was a waste. So there you go. Because this ain't the worst failed Money in the Bank cash in. I think like it's pretty bad. It's not as bad as the Austin Theory one though. That one was horrible.
Or Baron Corbin.
I was just man, boy, Steven, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was just about to add that you're not as bad as Baron Corbin. I think Baron Corbin take the top spot. Even if you want to add Austin Theory, that was bad.
I say Austin Theory because it's like you cashed in on a mid card title. You didn't even cash in on the world title. I was like, I'd understand if he lost to Roman, but the Theory one really kind of pissed me off. And I'm not even the biggest fan of Theory, but the fact that if I remember Bobby Lashley beats up Seth Rollins and then Theory's cashing in on like a 50% Seth Rollins for a mid card title and you still lost. I thought that was a waste of money in the bank. I thought that was a waste. I'm like, I would have understood if he lost to Roman at the time. It's like, well, hey, at least you cashed in on the world title. But the fact that you cashed in on a mid card title to a 50% Seth Rollins after already getting beat up. I was like, what am I watching here? This was stupid. So I got to put that one up there, in my opinion.
Well, it's
Well,
always the same
I
three
would do
because that Baron Corbin one was egregious too, where Jinder
right,
just
right.
had a match and it's Jinder Mahal, and he just loses via roll up in like 30 seconds.
And that's what I man. See,
That was
bingo.
bad.
That was horrible. That I would agree with Steven. I was gonna say I was gonna counteract it. I was like, well, I'll counter that with Jinder Mahal. You lose it. First off, you couldn't get the belt off Jinder Mahal. That mind blowing right there. So you couldn't get the belt off of him after a match. And all it took for you to have for you to lose is a slight distraction for John Cena, and all of a sudden you lose. Like, what is this? Like, oh my
Like
goodness, that was
seconds.
bad. That was bad.
That
That was
was bad. That was a
but
waste of
yeah, that
cash.
was the two worst ones. 2-1. Yeah, the two worst. Yeah, I'll give you that one though.
Also, Damian Sandow couldn't beat John Cena with one arm. That's also
Oh
one.
yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that one. A world title, yeah. Oh yeah, I
So
remember
that's
that
the
one.
three right there.
I definitely agree with you on that. I
That's
definitely agree. Yeah, that three right there.
That was a very bad cash. Yeah, I remember that one. That was a bad one too. So yeah, that's one of the worst cash ins. But moving on from this, we now move on to the women's Money in the Bank match. Chelsea Green, Io Shirai, Lyra Valkyria, Bird Girl there, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, Zoe Stark. One thing, some would say this was maybe the match of the night. Two things I could say from this was a car wreck. I will say that, and it was pretty crazy. And at the same time, man, it was botchy. So it was one of those things I liked and somewhat didn't like at the same time. But it was a very insane match, which, like I said before, someone look at this was the match of the night in a way, given how much of a car wreck it was. And like I said, I'm not gonna try to name every spot through this. But one of the cool things, I did see throughout this match was what Lyra, well, she got stuck in the ladder, right? And like doing a German suplex on EO, like kind of off the ladder with her legs hanging onto the the rungs of the ladder. That was good. Naomi doing like the when she was like on two ladders, and it's almost like you can see us, like it's like a split and everything, and she ended up doing like a suplex onto Zoe Stark, like while her legs are like hanging on like both the ladders, which was pretty good too. What else? Tiffany Stratton doing a big swanton out the ring, even like hitting that Alabama slam on Naomi onto the ladder was pretty good of how they countered that. What else was crazy in this match? I know especially towards the end with like EO doing what was that? Whatever big move she did on Zoe Stark, where Zoe Stark only like hit the side of the ladder. That was pretty crazy, even though it did look off at the same time. The one move that confused me a lot throughout this match was when Chelsea Green did I guess it was an Prettier or something, the kill switch on Naomi onto the ladder, which it didn't even look like. It looked like she just dropped. That's what it looked like. I was even like, what the hell was that? Like she just dropped. Because it was like I said, we had a lot of bridge ladders throughout this match, and you could see like one thing I kind of saw was a lot of people either end up missing the ladder or probably hit their head on the side of the ladder. Because I saw Zoe Stark get killed out there a lot throughout this match. So like I said, it was a lot of brutal falls, but going towards the end of all this, because everybody's mostly down at that point, especially when EO did that big move on Stark on the ladder, and then Chelsea Green just climbs up because everybody was mostly on her side, given she's from Canada, and they were playing to the whole she's afraid of heights thing. So now she's climbing up. Let's remember there are two tables on the outside of the ring, and basically Chelsea Green's climbing up. Tiffany Stratton cuts her off and ends up knocking her off to the outside of the ring onto the two tables, which that was the craziest spot, maybe the craziest spot through this whole match. So you gotta give Chelsea Green a lot of credit for taking that fall, and good thing she protected her head too. And Tiffany Stratton won the Money in the Bank briefcase, which I think we all knew that was gonna happen too. Like I already knew she was gonna win, so I'm not really surprised at the winner of all of this. But like I said, this was a crazy car wreck of a match, but still botchy at the same time. So it's one of those things I liked and not like at the same time, but I can understand why some people are saying this may have been the match of the night. just for the insanity.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that. A lot of people saying that. I guess. Um, yeah, I guess. I mean, you mentioned a couple of those rough spots. Yeah, that one bit, Zoe Stark was trying to do a Samoan drop on Lyra on a ladder, and she missed the ladder, but Lyra's arm came down on the side of the ladder. That was crazy. Then immediately followed up with trying to do her little senton from outside the ring, completely missed Lyra and just went head first into the ladder. I was just like, okay, this match is not off to a great start, man. Well, I don't know if Lyra owed people money or what, because that moment, I mean, you mentioned the German suplex that she did on Io, but right before that, Io was stomping the dog shit out of her on that ladder. I was like, whoa, what's going on here?
It,
Like,
it,
it's not supposed to be real, Io. Like, relax, bro. That was nuts. Like, it's not even a crazy spot, but it's just her stomping on Lyra's face upside down on a ladder. Like, this is crazy. But yeah, I mean, the car wreck nature of it actually made it more entertaining. Like, just other than the fact that you're like, all right, please, everybody, walk out of this match alive. Outside of that, you're just like, man, this is insane. The match, the stuff they're doing in this match is just ridiculous. That bit you were talking about, Io did that move on Zoe. It looked like a Rikishi driver that she did on the ladder, and then she was like bent over in that position for so long. I'm like, is she good? Like,
did you see
yeah,
that tornado
the match
DDT?
was crazy, bro.
Did you see
The
that tornado DDT one with EO and Lyra? How they kept trying to recover that one, but it didn't look good in the end. Like, kind of was like off the ropes. Like, did you see that part? That was like another kind of botch with like the commentary tried to say, it didn't hit all the way, but it did something. So I was like, what was that? So
that's their line, man. That's how they try to. She didn't get all of it, but yeah, I forgot that isn't the first time we saw Chelsea take that table bump. By the way, because Jordan Gray shared the one where they was the King of the Mountain match. I'm pretty sure
Slammiversary.
that's what it was. Yeah, where all
I
the women
remember
were in
that.
there, and was it her and Deanna? It was two people up there who took that bump. It was like, yeah, I forgot that she took this bump before. So shout out to Chelsea, man. I never thought she was winning. I mean, I know a lot of people ran with that online because she's very entertaining at what she does. But like, come on now, a Chelsea Green Women's World Championship run, like, let's get real. but I do like her, but that was never happening. It was always Tiffany's match to win, unless they were going with the Naomi story that they seem to be teasing with her and Bailey. But personal feelings aside towards Tiffany Stratton, like obviously this was her match to win. Um, you can see them now marketing a pink briefcase and all that, Tiffany in the bank, whatever. Like it's all right there, man. So yeah, I mean, I was entertained. There were a few times toes curled, teeth gritted, because I was like, oh gosh, please be all right. But other than that, yeah, it was a fun time, man.
Um, I it was my. It might be a controversial thing between two of y'all because I kind of heard y'all feelings a little bit about the main event, and I probably got a little different feeling to it. But this is my second favorite match on the night because it was so hard. Even though it was bossy, don't get me wrong, but some of that kind of brought in the realism in it. What how you would fall and how you would drop somebody if you were on top of the ladder and not try to perfectly have somebody on your shoulder. Yeah, it probably could have hurt somebody at the end of the day, but now you can look at it in hindsight 2020. You can look at it like, man, well, that's kind of real. Just imagine me trying to put somebody on my shoulder for a Samoan drop and I'm trying to climb a ladder at the same time. That probably ain't gonna happen. It probably ain't gonna look too pretty, you know. But it was kind of hard. It was kind of brutal, hardcore to me, and that's why it made it my second favorite match. Um, I ain't gonna lie to you. It's kind of hard for me to have an MVP. Really, it was like when you look at one girl doing something, you see another girl doing something crazy, and you see the other girl doing something crazy. You kind of really want to just give it up to all of them and not hurting themselves and not putting themselves on the show. But yeah, it was like my second favorite match. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I got you. So like I said, it was a car wreck, and like I said, it was no surprise. Tiffany won from here. So obviously the crowd is behind Tiffany anyways, the Tiffy time and all that. Like Steven said, the marketing of the briefcase. Like I said, they'll make a pink briefcase and put Tiffy time or Tiffy in the bank, because we already saw another segment with Trish later on where she said like, it's Tiffy time now. It's Tiffy in the bank. So obviously that's gonna happen. So like it's no surprise who won this match from here. But yeah, it was a car wreck. It's still funny he said MAGA Barbie. That's still funny though.
Who
But
said that?
Hey, I was trying to refrain from
That was
going any
you?
further. I just said
now I'm
personal
just I'm
feelings aside. I just left it at that,
Oh,
bro.
that was you, Steven? Oh. Yeah,
nah,
with
it's
Tiffany
funny.
winning the
It is pretty funny.
with Tiffany winning the briefcase, it said like Steven said, you knew it was her match to win. You know what I'm saying? Let's see where this goes. Even though I like her in ring style and in ring ability, I just can't really get behind that gimmick. The gimmick just too late '90s Valley Girl off of Clueless type of shit. It ain't even Barbie. It's Clueless. Alicia Silverstone type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you, I just can't really get behind the gimmick, but I know her in-ring ability is top notch. She's
You
one of
know,
the better athletes in the business.
What's funny about that gimmick, you kind of go back to NXT, and I remember saying this a while ago before she even debuted. I was like, well, they had Taya at the time, and wasn't that what she was doing? I'm like, before they got rid
Hmm
of her. And it's like, no, we don't
hmm
go with this other girl, but we don't want Taya. I'm like, well, what's wrong with Taya? She was doing it well enough too. And we all saw
Well,
how
you know
that
what it
happened.
is, bro.
Well, yeah, we know
Yeah,
why. She's
remember at
explained it
that
too.
time. Remember at that time the age thing was really hit it too. He did want you at a certain age that he wanted you
Exactly.
out. And remember they were doing that hard
Oh yeah,
at that
I mean,
time.
she
Yeah.
explained it. She explained it. Yeah, she said in
Oh,
the
so that
interview.
was it.
Yeah,
That, that was.
Taya did say it was an age thing. I know that she did kind of explain that
Oh,
in the
okay,
interview.
man. All right, so yeah, it made sense. It was around that time where they was over. You could be over this amount of age, and they wanted you in your early 20s and so. Not saying that's a bad thing. You know what I'm saying, that you want younger guys and stuff, but at the same time, don't act like these guys are just watch. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
Taya's not washed.
right, there we go. Don't act like that. You know what I'm saying? Some of these guys that he was ready to give up on, the LA Knights and all the Italians, he was ready to give up on these niggas. Like, man, look, I'm about to give you a bad gimmick and I'm about to see you wash out and I'm about to release you. That's what he was about to do. But I'm glad they took another route right now. They give it anybody who could pop a crowd a chance. You know what I'm saying? That's basically it.
And Taya was still in NXT, if I remember. Like she never even made it to the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of funny when I look at Tiffany's gimmick. I was like, well, they did have Taya, but like, nah, we don't want her. We just gonna go with somebody else. So that was my whole thing about it. But one thing to I guess moving on from this whole Money in the Bank, we now go on into the main event of this show. Uh, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens versus the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Tamatonga, and now the debut match of Jacob Fatu. I'm gonna be honest about this match. I don't think this match was bad. It was good. It was a brawl that needed to get across, but at the same time, this felt like a main event on Raw or SmackDown. That's what this felt like to me when it was the main event of this show. And, gotta give Jacob Fatu. I thought he had a good showing out there. The man has lost a lot of weight the last time. They say he dropped like maybe 30, 40 pounds, because I'm like, man, this guy looks really different. But he was good out there. Like I said, the match, it was a good brawl. Like it didn't even get like too crazy out there and everything. But like I said, it was still enjoyable. I felt like several times throughout this match, I felt like the crowd kind of was on and off this match until like towards the end where they kind of came back on because I know they got the announce table involved because once the ref bump happened, the shenanigans gonna happen. Tonga Loa getting involved and Owens he like hit a big because they were gonna do like a shield bomb on Solo through the announce table, but Jacob made the save, but Kevin Owens kept hitting like several super kicks. Then I think it was on Jacob Fatu, and then he put Solo through the table doing like a big frog splash on it. And everybody's damn near hitting their finishers in the ring throughout this match. One funny thing, especially got to the end, because Tonga Loa, he came back in there, and I don't know if it was Cody, I think it was in the ring at the end, because everybody's just hitting finishers, and Cody hit like the crossroads on Solo like twice, and he was going up for a third, but I think it was Tonga Loa that got in, and he hit a nut shot. I think this was it, but I don't know if it was either him or Kevin Owens, but he missed the first nut shot. He had to hit it twice. I was like, he missed it. He had to do it twice. I was like, what the hell was that? What the hell was that? I think it was on Kevin Owens. Maybe it wasn't Cody, but I know Jacob Fatu had made the save for Solo, taking out Cody. I think it was like a Impaler DDT, and then he ended up holding up Cody, and then Solo hit the Samoan spike, and that was it. Okay, because like I said, it felt like a main event for Raw or SmackDown. Like the crowd was into it. You get your "We Want Roman" chants, or "F you Solo," or "Fight Owens fight," because I got to remember this is Canada, so not Kevin Owens from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, but it's Canada nonetheless. But like I said, it was a good match, and it just sets up for 9 times out of 10 it's going to be Solo and Cody Rhodes for the WWE title at SummerSlam. I don't really want to see it, honestly, but I think we all knew this was going to happen. I'm sure people was expecting Randy Orton to turn on Cody Rhodes in this match from out of nowhere and just RKO him, and then we would get Orton versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam, which that would be the big money match, in my opinion, which I thought was going to happen. But it's like, we got to get this Bloodline Solo. I'm about to start calling them the Mafia Bloodline version now. That's what it's starting to look like. It's like, yeah, they beat up Paul Heyman, they took him out, and like I said, we're getting Jacob Fatu over, so that's why he was in this match. Some wonder why they just didn't use God, just Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. Some say Tonga Loa was hurt. I'm not really sure, so that's a question in the air. So I'm not 100% on that, but I just thought it was just a good match. It was a good brawl, but did I think it needed the main event to show? I get for the story purpose, I guess, if you want to look at that, but I could have saw this on Raw or SmackDown. So, like, it's one of those it is what it is things. It got the job done. You know where this is going. You know the match that's going to happen. It's going to be Solo and Cody. I don't know how many people are really excited to see that, because it's kind of what I brought up earlier. Like, I know they're doing their best to get Solo over, but I go back to that match with John Cena back at Crown Jewel. Like, did it really do him a lot of favors? I don't know, but like I said, they're trying to establish this new bloodline. So it's an up and down thing for me about this match. It's like up and down, and once again, predictable. So that's another word to talk about this whole show, predictable.
All right, well, I'll say this. This was a perfectly fine WWE 6-man tag team match, but I didn't like it. And I'll tell you exactly why. For one, does anybody remember what happened at Backlash this year?
Yes, which match?
Well, as far as what?
Involving these people.
The bloodline?
It was
The
Randy
same,
Orton and Kevin Owens versus Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga, right?
right?
And that
Yep.
match didn't even get to start because they were so wanting to put their hands on each other. They were so angry. They couldn't even wait. They brawled everywhere. Nick Aldis had to come out and be like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. We're just going to make this a street fight because this can't be contained. Referees can't control this. Let's just get going. All right. Fast forward to this match, and it's a regular 6-man tag match, bro. Like, are you telling me they're not going to be more upset later down the line, so the match shouldn't be more violent than what we got at Backlash? Instead, we're just doing this regular tag team match as opposed to an amped up version than what we got at Backlash. Why are we doing this? Here, I'm going to tag you now, brother. All right, get your stomps in. I'm going to tag you in. Like, no, bro. we need to see y'all jump in the ropes, push the ref out the way, go at each other, make this a street fight, go crazy, go all over the arena like you did in the last match. But instead, they were just presenting this like, all right, well, here's a 6-man tag. Like, all right, they did the exact same thing last year with freaking the Bloodline Civil War, where leading up to it, Paul Heyman was like, Roman Reigns is going to rain down blood, and it's going to be a massacre, and it's just a regular tag match. like, what is the point of even establishing an emotional connection to things if you're not going to follow up on what you've presented to me on television, bro? Why are we should be at the point now, especially for Kevin Owens, right? Because this man's been beefing with these same people. It don't matter what group of people you bring in, it's the same shit. He's been beefing with them for 4 years now. Randy Orton got taken out. He's been beefing with them for at least 2 years. Cody Rhodes got screwed over by Bloodline for at least 2 years. This should be like, this the kind of shit you should say for like a Hell in a Cell or something. These dudes should be wanting to massacre each other. And I'm just sitting here watching tags and like, this, bro. I didn't like it at all. And on top of that, that's one thing. That was my main issue. But the second thing, shout out to Jacob Fatu, bro, because he was the main highlight of this match for me, because he was the one that was going out there and bringing it to another level. But it also made me realize, not even realize, because we already knew that as soon as Jacob Fatu came in, Solo Sikoa was going to look incredibly less than. And this match showed me that by a 1,000, bro. Every time Jacob Fatu was in there, the intensity increased. He's out here no selling Randy Orton's signature moves, and he's out here killing dudes. Like, this is exactly what we thought Jacob Fatu was going to be coming to WWE. But they're still trying to push Solo as the main guy. And I feel like y'all dropped the ball so hard on that, because every time they're out there together, especially now in the tag team situation where you get to see them both wrestle, it just exposes Solo even more, dude. And the fact that we're still trying to run with this when you could have easily pivoted a couple weeks ago when they did that acknowledgement ceremony, you could have switched it up. Because Solo was very ambiguous leading up to it about who the quote unquote new tribal chief was. I mean, you could have thought he was talking about himself, but he never said it was him until he officially said it. So then he could have been talking about Jacob Fatu all this time. And when they bring him in, Fatu was the main one. So when they do the acknowledgement ceremony, he's like, oh, he was talking about Jacob Fatu the whole time. He's the new truck. But since we're going with Solo, and now I'm just seeing like every time he's in there doing his moves, it's cool or whatever. But then Jacob Fatu comes in and it's like, oh yeah, this is that dude, bro. He's doing Whisper in the Winds and shit. Like, this is that dude, bro. Like, but they're not pushing him to that. And maybe that's where this story goes. Eventually, Solo loses control of his new bloodline or whatever. Maybe they bring in Hikuleo and they do like Roman, Solo, and the Usos versus Jacob Fatu's bloodline. Maybe that's where this all goes. But for right here, right now, in this moment, the fact that this dude is on the roster and he's being subservient to a lesser than tribal chief is bugging the hell out of me, man. So that's why I couldn't get down with this match. Those two exact reasons. The intensity, they didn't want to bring it for whatever reason. And then we got Solo being the main character when he's obviously not that. So I know Carl said he liked it. I ain't here to sway you, but that's just where I came from, bro.
No, boy. That's why we got three different people, man, with three different opinions. That's what this show is all about, boy. Most definitely. But with that being said, I totally disagree with both of y'all. Real talk. Now I'm about to give y'all the reason why I disagree. Now the first beginning of the match. Now if the first beginning of the match was like that throughout the whole match without the chaos, yeah, I would be like, man, yeah, this match is as a regular, man. But Jacob Fatu. Now you talking to a man who didn't see any of his stuff. So when I first saw him come to the scene, I was there. You know what I'm saying? I was there, see, but you know what I'm saying? When he first debuted. So I saw it. So I know who he was. Don't get me wrong. I heard the name thousands of times over the years. You know what I'm saying? That I heard the name. I know he a fat too. So I didn't expect nothing less than what Fatu do in in wrestling. And so I didn't expect anything less from the man. So I knew it. So he got a new fan in me. And I understand y'all great. That y'all seen him. You know what I'm saying? Y'all seen him, y'all seen his work, y'all know what he about. But he also being presented to fans like me that never seen his work, heard his name, but never seen anything this man did. So he being presented to me as this essentially a new character. And he not being presented to y'all like that because y'all seen him. So y'all knew he ain't no new character. It's like, but to me personally, this how I'm looking at it. It's like he looked like he he seemed like a more intact version of Maga. He not so unhinged, but at the same time he a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? Especially the acknowledgement ceremony. We go back to that, and I love how he said it. I love you. I acknowledge you, but he crazy, man. He got that nigga. He don't have it all, and especially how they were presenting him with it last night. I love how they was presented him. Oh man, he stayed away. They stayed away from him. They could they didn't know if they wanted to bring him in or not. Oh, see, that's how you present him, man. He dangerous, me. And my cousin wanted to know. My cousin wanted to know like what he did. What did he do? So I have to look it up. And so he must have did a whole bunch of misdemeanors or something because I only see one robbery when he was 18 years old. If we talking about that, well, the man 32 years old now. Like we gonna still talk about this one robbery when he was 18. Let's cut it out now. You know, but he being presented to me as a new character. I fell in love with him yesterday. Y'all just don't know how much I fell in love with that boy yesterday. That boy with the whisper of the wind with ease. I was like, my goodness. I was pulling my cousin out like, do you see this man? Do you see you? And he just do a whisper in the wind. And here I'm like, man, this man gotta be pushing 280, 290. It's like, oh my goodness. But here's the thing though. I disagree with y'all one more thing before we go on. And I know I'm going in too much, but I was kind of excited. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. But but Solo needs to stay in that role. And I know y'all gonna disagree wholeheartedly. And y'all I know, but at the same time, hear me out, please. Hear me out. Since Jacob is playing this not really he not really playing a totally unhinged guy, but he's playing a guy that you can't really trust. You know what I'm saying? He could go off on you at any second. He could turn on you at any second. You don't know what this nigga about to do because he a wild card. You know, so with Solo being in that role, he could be in that role thinking that he got everything under control. You need a guy like that because he thinking he got everything under control. But Jacob is that wild card to me that making it seem like it could go left or Solo at any time. So you need to me, I need that. You know, I need that part because Jacob is playing a very good, very good his type of guy to me, And yeah, I mean, match wise, I talk about everything outside of match, but match wise, it was okay. Like Steven just said, it was a serviceable 6-man tag. But if you telling me that I'm over here looking at it, I think they were pushing Fatu to us. You know what I'm saying? To the people like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, look what this guy can do. And to the guys like me who never seen him before, we get amazed by this. And I promise you, he probably built a whole new fan base from last night. Real talk. Probably a whole bunch of guys who ain't never seen him before, and he built a whole new fan base. The boy got me hooked, and I'm ready for some more. I'll
All
pass to y'all, man.
right. Well, I do agree with you, especially on the wild card part, because like I said, and this kind of goes into Steven's point too. Yes, Jacob Fatu is supposed to be like the wild card. Like I said, he has a certain aura, than from the rest of everyone in the bloodline right now. Because yes, he's not too crazy, but he's a savage basically. It's just when I look at the other people in the bloodline, everybody look too kind of clean right now. Like I said earlier, it's like a Samoan mafia thing and all that. But once again, Jacob Fatu is already overshadowed Solo Sikoa, which was already rumored to begin with already, and they said WWE was apparently worried about that, which is already come into play. Like I said, like Jacob Fatu, it's a certain aura. It's a certain aura that makes him look crazy. Like not too crazy, but he could turn at any second. But the stuff he's doing out there compared to Solo is like, yeah, they're trying to push Solo as this leader of the bloodline thing, the new tribal chief and all that. But I still believe people just not have not bought into it all the way. And he is shit. I've already seen people say Tama Tonga is kind of already overshadowed Solo out there in this whole new role. So they're trying to get this over as much as they can. But I do agree with Steven on one thing. It's like, yeah, we had this wild ass brawl back at Backlash, and we couldn't keep these guys' hands off each other. But we had a basic 6-man tag, and it only got a little bit crazy because we had a big ref bump that was taken down for almost like the ref was down for what, almost 10 minutes out there, damn near. So yeah, of course everything was gonna get crazy after that. Am I really looking forward to Solo and Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam? No, not really at all. Like they're trying to get this over, but I'm not really buying into him as leader all the way. I get why they're doing it and for the whole, once again, storyline purposes of it, but it's like, does anybody believe that Solo has any chance against Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam? Which I do believe that Roman may return at SummerSlam, and then like we already said, it'll be some giant big bloodline civil war once again, which I do believe will play in the Survivor Series later on, and maybe into a War Games match and all that. And hell, I even thought Hikuleo was probably going to debut in this. I thought somebody else was going to show up because they got every Samoan showing up out of nowhere from wherever they came from, whether it be New Japan or MLW and all that. So I was just kind of expecting that to happen. But like I said, it was a good match. It got the job done. It needed what it needed to do. Still felt like it could have been on Raw or SmackDown either way, but I was expecting something a little bit crazier throughout this whole thing, given how they've been trying to build this stuff. But it was just a basic 6-man tag. And it got the job. It was serviceable. It got the job done. It needed what it needed to do. But I don't think people are still buying into this whole Solo thing. I really don't. They're trying to, but he's getting overshadowed in a lot of all this right now. Like he really is. Okay, like I agree with Steven. It's like people just ain't buying into it, and I'm not really looking forward to the match at SummerSlam. Like I know what they're doing, and they're doing what they need to do, but like I said, Jacob is just he just over in shadow cats right now. He overshadowing people. So it is what it is. But this main event was just okay. It did what it needed to do.
Yeah, man. This Solo thing is it's the old adage. Like she looked like a bad bitch till a bad bitch show up, bro. Like they they're like, yeah, Solo's our top guy, and then you bring in a Jacob Fatu, and it's like, oh, actually, this is what a top guy feels like. Like this, so this other guy we've been booking, he don't feel like that no more because we got a real motherfucker right here. Like, and that's unfortunate. I mean, it is what it is. Because I remember when he was in NXT and everybody was so high on him being the street champ and all that he was doing. I remember all that. But then when they brought him in the way they did and him trying to take over for Roman, like it's already going to feel different because he's not Roman. But then to make it worse, the people you put under him feel more legit than he does. And it's just like, it is what it is, man, you know?
And they're trying to get heat on him, like I said, by taking out Heyman and saying Roman's not coming back. And, we're taking over now. This is the new bloodline. We've already taken out Jimmy Uso. We now took out Paul Heyman. And Roman, like I said, we don't know when Roman's coming back at any time soon. But it's like they're trying to get heat on him as much as they can. But nah, it ain't it. And like Steven just said with the NXT thing, it's like once he got to the bloodline, it's just okay, enforcer, just fold your arms and just stand behind Roman until it's your time. Like NXT is like at least you could say he was kind of being his own guy, and going somewhere until, you know, they put him with the Bloodline, which, come on, we all knew that was going to happen fast anyways. Like, you knew what they was trying to do, even though I thought it was kind of odd they gave him the North American title, but then, like, a week later, like, yeah, you're not in NXT anymore, so you got to give back the North American title. So you got it, but now you got to give it back. So this whole him being the leader out of all this, it feels very discountish, but you look at the people around him, yeah, they look more legit than him. Okay, it's like you have Jacob Fatu, you have God, mostly Tom and Tong, I'm sure everybody's saying, but yeah, that's how I'm looking at all this. Like I said, I'm not really looking forward to him versus Cody at SummerSlam. So we know why he pinned him, but how many people are really excited about that match? Which I expect a lot of shenanigans to happen too.
But I do want to add this. And this might, this we. I hear y'all talking, but I think I'm hearing more when y'all say nobody really want to see this, or everybody thinks, everybody knew that this was going to happen, and might, that he was going to overshadow. But I think we are talking more like fans on the internet, because when I watch this SmackDown, and especially last night, I'm hearing something different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm hearing y'all, and I know with this because I'm a part of that fan base. I'm a part of the internet fan base, so I'm not knocking it, anything like that. But we also do this to AEW, where we say a lot of people don't don't know. I mean, a lot of casuals don't know some of the internet favorites, or some of the people that was tearing it up on the indie scene. We kind of do that to AEW and say, like, man, hold on, how you expect us to, know who X, Y, and Z is, you know, and not a lot of people who, it's not a lot of, internet fans that, there's not a lot of casual fans, my bad, that know this guy. And so I understand what y'all, like, I definitely understand what y'all coming from, because I hear the internet fans say this, and I know the internet fans are saying what y'all just said. But at the same time, some of us, I'm not saying everybody, but some of us do kind of condemn AEW fans for expecting a lot of people to know who these guys are, but we don't do it when it comes down to, when it comes down to WWE. You know what I'm saying? To do the same thing, because they, like I just said when I had my chance, my go around. This is my first time seeing them. I'm not, I ain't saying I'm a super, I'm a super casual, but I'm not, I'm not one of the guys that really been brushing up on a lot of stuff. And this is my first time seeing them. It got to be a lot of people first time seeing them, especially with WWE fans having a lot of casual fans. And so I definitely, like I said, I definitely agree with y'all, but at the same time, I had, a little pushback when I was hearing y'all talk, and I was like, well, we kind of condemn AEW fans for expecting everybody to know who X, Y, and Z is, but we kind of we not doing it now.
I'm trying to think. Say, you got anything, Steven?
As a retort or just in general?
I don't know. I
No,
was gonna say retort. I was trying to think something.
Oh no, I mean I feel where he's coming from.
No, I get his
Kyle,
point
I
though.
got you. I'm not going to say you're wrong or anything. I hear what you're saying. Because I mean, I can feel how I feel about it, but at the same time, Solo is getting reactions like the fans. We want Roman, or fuck you, Solo, whatever they're saying. Like they do react to him in a big way, despite, from my perspective, him not feeling like he should, being put in the position he's in. But I mean, yeah, like I said, I definitely get where you're coming from. So I'm not going to say you're wrong or anything. So yeah.
And one more thing with that, with Solo, I had explained it to my cousin the other day. I don't think Solo was meant to feel like the real guy. He was meant to feel like this renegade, little nigga type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, hold on, man. What is this little nigga coming up here talking about he about to do this and he about to do that? Like, who is this guy? You supposed to look at him like, man, what's this guy? Is he supposed to be taking over? Like, I think that's what the whole solo role is. Like, you ain't the real guy. Where the real nigga at? Go get him. You know, that type of thing. You know, go get the real man. Like, you ain't the real man. Go get the real one. I think that's what he proposed to Benfield, like the guy who nobody really look at as the big guy. He just trying his hardest by doing reckless things to get you to understand him or get you to look at him. He doing super reckless things instead of with Roman. Roman wasn't doing reckless, super reckless thing. He just would, hey, if you on the hit list, you on the hit list, and we're coming after you. But you see Solo and his boy, they over here doing um, running into people's cars, and you know he doing a lot of reckless things. And I think he's supposed to be looked at as that little nigga, like man, who trying his best to be looked at, but he ain't doing it.
No, I get what you're trying to say. He's trying to do his own thing, and like, hey, we doing this a new way now. But it's like, yo, hold on, who is you? Like, how you think your way about to work? Like, we was doing fine. Now you trying to change everything. Like, get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And that's why I think that's what the role he was supposed to take until Roman come back, and he be like, hold on, what you was trying to do? You trying to take over, and that's how the whole thing is. That's why I really think Solo was supposed to be. But one more thing, I think Solo is going to. Well, I'm afraid that I do agree with y'all because after let's just say after everything ends, if Roman comes back, Roman picks his group and everything. Solo probably go with Roman group or something. But once he go back to Roman group, he going to take the same road that he already had took, and that's going to be basically a lesser road that he already was trying to build. So I think he gonna go right back into that road.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. No, it's like going about to be a background character. So no,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can definitely
Unless
see
all
that.
that, unless when that feud ends, like if they do the Romans bloodline versus, I guess whoever takes Solo's place when he goes back, that bloodline, and then when it's all over, then Roman's like, all right, or Solo, somebody, because the Usos are going to be involved in all that, and they all just agree to go their separate ways after that. That's probably the best way that can go without him just once again feeling like enforcer dude. And then you can see what he can really do on his own on main roster without all being attached to that. So that's the best I could hope for him. It's just right now, it is what it is. But I do I drive with what you're saying about him being like, because I've seen enough like gangster movies to see that play out where the second
Same.
dude is trying to, he's getting a little too big for his britches, and so to try and stand out and be more of the head guy, he's taking all
He
these
going.
risks, he's doing the crazier things and all like. So I don't feel any differently about how I feel, but I do definitely see what you're talking about.
That's all I wanted. It's like I wasn't trying to change the man. I was just trying to like give you the insight how I'm looking at it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I
And
understand.
I want to add on to the gangster movies and stuff. You know how the second hand always get all the guys say that his guys is super reckless. His guys that can't be controlled. His guys gonna get him popped. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Solo new group is. Solo new group is the unhinged, the uncontrollable guys. They gonna get him into a lot of trouble because they can't be controlled. And Solo think he got it, like the second hand, like in the movies. They think they got it every time, but it's something always happen when it blows up in their face. They be like, "Hey, you thought you could control these guys, but they was uncontrollable."
Yep, that's probably
Yeah, that's
exactly
true.
where this is going.
So yeah, I definitely agree. No, that's a good statement to make right there. So no, I get it though. I get what you're trying to go with. So that's probably where it's gonna lead to most likely. But overall, this show, It was good. Kind of like I said at the beginning of this whole thing. It was good. Like nothing great. I'm like in the middle ground of it in a way. Like I'm in that. If I had to grade it, I want to go damn near with a C to a C plus. Honestly, if I ain't say a C plus or maybe a B minus, like that's where the range I'm kind of going into and all of this throughout this whole show. Cause like I said, I thought the opener was good, even though once again predictable. That's the word throughout this whole show is predictable. The Intercontinental match, that one was like I said, it was solid, but that finish really just kind of had me thinking through a lot of it. Where it was like it was a good match, but I'm like, oh, this is what we're kind of going with. So I'm very conflicted on that. The world title match just the shenanigans. Once the cash in happened, how the waste of the cash in went, how everything went, it's just like it's a lot of confusion to where it's like I get it, but at the same time, it's like we could have kind of went through a different pathway throughout this whole thing. But once again, that predictable word comes into play too. Same with the women's Money in the Bank car wreck, but botchy and predictable at the same time. Same with the main event. Good stuff, but once again, predictable, and it's a lot of perspectives to kind of see of how the whole match went in general. Good six man, but I would have expected something different throughout this whole thing. So I'm kind of like in that middle to the C plus, maybe B minus thing. So it was a good show. Like that's how far it was good. So that's how if I'm looking at an overall perspective of it.
Yeah, I'm definitely in that C range because there's nothing on the show that I'd go back and watch, and that's kind of the thing that determines how I rate a show. Like if it has at least one or two matches or angles that are like, wow, I just got to go back and watch that again. Like then that's what bumps up the rating. But if everything is just kind of on a level, then that's definitely C range for me. So yeah, that's exactly where I'm at.
I I put out a star rating on Twitter. So it's like as I was talking about it, I'm over here thinking like I gave a lot of matches like the average was at least three, three and a half, three and a half, four. And so I'm over here conflicted. Like the whole night didn't offend me. Nothing that offended me. It just everything was just good. Okay. Not as spectacular, not exciting, just good. And so I want to just give it a B minus. Yeah, that's my thing. B minus. I don't, just a little a tad bit above C.
The only other interesting thing I could really say on this show was just the whole, you know, John Cena announcement thing, given it was kind of, out of nowhere and whatnot, even though the t-shirts and stuff literally gave it away as soon as he walked out there and all that. But like his whole announcement thing and wherever this whole retirement angle is gonna go, that was probably the only other interesting thing throughout this show. So, like I said, I'm just kind of in the middle. Like I'm staying in that C range when it comes to Money in the Bank. So, just looking at the angles and everything that happened on the show. So that's the only other interesting part was the Cena stuff to see wherever that's gonna lead into.
The most interesting, honestly.
Yeah, that was the most interesting thing to me. What's so wild about that? So throughout the whole night after he make his announcement, right? So my cousin talked to a girl right on the phone, and she just come out of nowhere, just blurted out. This is my cousin who don't watch wrestling, and obviously the girl don't either, but she used to. And she just blurted out, "Oh, I see John Cena about to retire." I see, man, this is huge. How? How you know? Where you hear this from? She like, man, I saw it on 532 news page. I'm like, get out of here. I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm like, and then but ESPN talking about congratulations, John. Everybody talking about. I'm like, yeah, man, this is gonna be a nice run. They about to make a bus load of money.
Oh yeah, like I said, like it's gonna do business. Obviously, those T-shirts and hats are gonna sell like usual, and it's gonna sell out.
Oh,
Uh,
that T-shirt was ugly. That's
They
yeah,
always are, bro.
I'm be honest, man. When it comes to trust me, when it comes to John Cena's merchandise, like multiple color T-shirts, a lot of them I've never really liked. I hate that orange one the most, but the only ones I probably ever liked when it comes to his merchandise, I like the Rise Above Hate T-shirt. I did like that one. Um,
his early gear. The
and
chain
his
gang,
early, the
like the
chain
chain.
gang stuff. That's kind of it.
I
Once
had
it
his
went to
jersey.
the C Nation and like you had a different color T-shirt almost every other month, like the red one, and it was several red ones, but just like the purple one, the light blue one. Well, I thought the light blue one was okay, but nah, if it ain't like his chain gang stuff or anything that has like if it's a black T-shirt with something on it, I may like it, depending. But a majority of his T-shirts, even the stuff he came out with right now, I was like, oh, they gave you a new T-shirt, and I'm like, yeah, this doesn't look really good. I didn't like that last one he had on, the light blue and orange one. I didn't like. So, nah, when it comes to Cena's merch and gear, I know it'll sell, but no, I've never really liked a lot of his current merchandise. Like like I said, chain gang stuff, I'm cool with, or the Rise Above Hate one, but or if anything that has black in it. But nah, a lot of his majority of his shirts, I never liked them. No, it's like everybody wants to bring up the Fruity Pebble color thing. Like, no, I never liked his gear like that.
Well, they're also not marketing that to grown men either. So,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They ain't going to us. That bright color stuff
also,
ain't coming to us.
It's always marketed to kids. Like it's been that for hella years now, for a very long time.
once he got past his rapper phase, it was no longer for us, man.
Nope.
Yeah,
You right. Yeah, Steven.
once the C
I'm
Nation
liking
stuff,
it, really.
yeah,
I ain't
black
gonna
will
even
work.
my bad. Bryce, my bad.
No, my bad,
Uh,
my bad. You good?
Nah, and that's when I started liking him. See, real talk. When I started seeing the transition, when he stopped rapping and he started really presenting himself to the kids. I like, oh yeah, this ain't the John. I'm like really like, but I respected him. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
I knew what was best for business, and that was to change him from that John Cena that we used to like to the John Cena the kids was liking and whatever best for business. And they did. They made a busload of money together.
I
Just
was
like on-
my bad cutting you off. Like I was gonna say, I get it. Like I was okay with the military stuff too. I didn't even mind that a lot. That wasn't bad. I didn't mind the military stuff, but nah, once it got to the C Nation thing and y'all start calling it the attitude adjust. I still call it the FU. I never stopped calling it the FU, the finisher. Like I know they call it the attitude adjustment. They've been doing that for years, but I never stopped calling it the FU. I just didn't. I just kept calling it that.
I don't know why they changed it for the FU and still kept him with the five knuckle shuffle. You know what I'm saying? I know that kind of hit under the radar more than the FU because the FU was right in your face. Five knuckle shuffle is not really in your face. You got to really explain it to a kid if he did ask. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like so you can still fly under the radar with the five knuckle shuffle, but it still baffled me a little bit because guess what? Five knuckle shuffle, we all know what that means. Like, it's like,
right.
There you go.
but I can see why it can fly under the radar because it's not really in your face as much as FU. You know, that's
Yeah,
why it's
like
part of the radar like that.
I get it, but like I was always kind of confused at the time. I was like, why they stop calling it the FU? Like, until I understood why. Then like, all right, I get it. I know what y'all trying to do. I get it. Marketing, sells merchandise. Obviously, he sells a lot of top merchandise, so I get it. It's just me. Just saying that's just me. I still call it the FU because I just never stopped calling it that. So that's my whole thing about it. So yeah, once it went to like the multicolored T-shirts every other month, it's like it is what it is. We know who it's geared to and all that, but I do question whoever is making these things a lot. They don't look really good from a design standpoint. So even like I said, the one he came out with right like on Money in the Bank, nah, just not. I'm not digging it. So just from a design perspective. So that's how I look at the whole thing. But hey, we do have NXT Heat Wave later on tonight. I'm almost surprised this show is on a Sunday, in a way. But and Money in the Bank was on Saturday, but we'll see where that goes. I am looking forward to see what's gonna happen on it. Y'all looking forward to Heat Wave later on?
Sure, I'll
Kind
be
of.
checking it out.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Yeah.
I think
I don't know
it'll
if excited is the word, but yeah, I'll check it out.
it'll be good. Like it's nothing I'm too excited to see on there. Like I think we already know who's gonna win all these things anyway, so it does feel predictable. The only one I may have a different thing on, I think Lola Vice may win the title, maybe, but we'll
See
see.
that and the North American title match are what have me most interested.
Those
Who
the only
Obi? I ain't even know about that. Well, who Obi defended the title against?
Wesley.
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 Yeah.
Oh, 1-on-1. Just one on
Yep.
one,
Yeah.
right?
1-on-1.
Because remember the last few times they've been throwing him into like triple threat matches for the title and stuff. So this is straight up 1-on-1. Oh, okay then. Let me pop that in my veins right now. I
Yeah, I
need it.
think
Yeah.
yeah, I think everything is a title match tonight on this show. Everything is a title. Both North American title belts, the NXT title, the NXT Women's
Oh, that
title.
one too. I
Yep.
forgot about that. Yeah, Kalani and Soul's gonna cook.
That should be good. And damn, is any other title? It's like 5 matches, I believe. Are the tag belts on the line?
Nah.
Yeah,
I think no,
Chase
yeah,
U.
Chase U. Yeah, they going against
Oh,
Chase
take
U.
you going for it?
Yeah, they
That's
won
a
that gauntlet something on NXT like a week or two ago. So nah, they going yeah, they doing that. So yeah, it is what it is for Heat Wave. So like I said, other than 2 other matches that at least kind of my interest, everything else just kind of feels predictable, especially the Fatal 4-Way. Sean Spears will take the pin. So I think we all know where that's gonna go. So we shouldn't like Trick will retain. So like I said, Heat Wave seemed like a decent show. Like we'll see what happens, but it's only at least like 2 matches which I feel could change at least a little bit of outcome on things. And I'd say that the women's title and North American title. So we'll see what happens on there. It should be a pretty decent show. So we'll see what happens. But other than that though, yeah, hope everybody enjoyed this show. Anything to plug before we get out of here?
no,
No,
no.
I'm ready to roll, bro.
All right, well, we'll see what happens later on tonight. Hey, the next review probably will be Slammiversary, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, maybe.
And
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
this will be my first. I will make sure this will be my first TNA review. Real talk. I will make sure I will sample it here. You heard it online. You heard it here. This will be my first TNA review. I will do it.
Hey,
All right, man, let's get it.
looking forward to it. We're gonna see what happens to Slammiversary in the next couple of weeks. So yeah. Other than that, we out of here. Hey, hit the like button, hit that notification bell, comment, subscribe, and yeah, we out. See y'all later on tonight. We'll see how this show goes. Peace.